Alright, so this is my double slip-tended duck PeeWee. She's 1.5 years old. She's been a slip-tended duck since she was 2 days old. She was crushed as a duckling, and I wasn't able to rescue her until she was 2 weeks old. So I'm going to show you on what I do to wrap up her hocks and avoid stuff like this. This just happened recently. It's just wear and tear, and so we had a huge infection in here, but it's looking a lot better. So let me show you what I have. Alright, so the first thing that I do is I check over her legs, check to see if there's any just boogers, not to attenuate hers just because of how her legs are, and check to see if she has any sores. Sometimes she gets sores right here, and then sometimes she gets them right up here. That's where the white spots are. So I just verify her feet and check for any swelling. So this is right now is her bad leg because we had a huge infection. I think I finally got the infection in order, so there's still a little bit of swelling versus her other leg, which is normal for her. And flipping on her back is so much easier to bandage than her not being flipped under. She's used to it. She doesn't mind it. She's a good little patient. So the first thing I do is I clean the area nice and good, and then since we've been dealing with an infection, I use non-stick pads because then it doesn't stick to the wounds. And then right now I have this, whoops, thanks baby. I have this cream that is antibiotic cream. I can only get this prescription, but it works great for infections. If she doesn't really have an infection, I use Vetericyn. This stuff is amazing and gets the job done really well. Another thing that I use is this ointment that's in my bag. This is good ointment for any really dry skin or dry little hocks, and I use that too. Alright, so here's the first step. This is the non-stick pad, and then just with medical tape at the bottom. And then I'm going to put the cream here, and then I'm going to fold it over, and then medical tape it again. And then that's the first step. This is good protective, especially if she already has sores. I do this even if she doesn't have sores, just because it gives a nice protection layer and helps with less rubbing issues. I've played around with the different few options. This seems to work the best because it doesn't stick to her as bad, and so it doesn't create a lot of heat, extra heat in her hocks, which is something you want to avoid, is extra heat. And because there's not going to already have a lot of breathing just because of how her legs are. Alright, so first major step is done. She has her ointment where she has her sore and where the infection rooted from. The second step is the second thing is padding. So padding is super key. It gets the pressure off of here, and then I've noticed more the padding that she has around her hock. She's able to actually move around a little bit more freely, and overall. One of my favorite things that I've come to find out is the PetFlex AFDs. These are actually really hard to find, so if you can find them, buy them. It's really cool because they're vet wrapped with a foam padding. So I typically put, these are old ones I have used. I reuse. They're not too bad. I have to get some new ones because they're hard to find. When you find them, you got to get them. I use 3 for her right now just because of this leg, and I'll just gives her a little extra padding for her, and then I'll show you how to wrap it. I usually form it around her leg and wrap it tight enough that it will secure, but not too tight so she doesn't lose circulation in her leg, because you don't want that, and especially in a slip-tended duck, they'll just have more issues in the long run. So then this is like the last step, but also the very important step. You also want to check between your toes, and because they automatically get this normal gunky skin falling off parts, and you always want to clean this out before you wrap up. And I wrap up all her hawk. Man, sometimes I leave her toes out, but most of the time it is fully wrapped, just because she's notorious for getting herself stuck in stupid situations. So I just wrap them up so it just protects her all of her feet. So here goes nothing. Alright, so the placement of the foam is super important. You want it further enough down the leg that'll give her support, but you'll notice that they have pressure points on where they actually put most of their weight. So you want to make sure you have it mostly on the hawk, or where they're putting most of their weight at, so that gives them enough balance. And then I just take that wrap nicely around very evenly as much as I can. And give a nice good coat. And I do put an extra layer right here just because she will wear this part out more. especially if me happen to miss a bandage change. So this is really important right here, and then the new one's inside, and I cut it off, so because then it's a little easier to wrap. You can use it when it's still attached. There's just a special way you have to do it, and then I put it up to her here. So I've noticed that this does a lot better for her. She has less chance to get scabs or get more sores when she has a little lot more protection of her leg. So let me see if I can show you how to wrap this. Jeez.